You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Come on, then! I'll bite your legs off!
I can take it.
Great power comes great responsibility. We have a hope. Get to the chopper! And leave.
Life finds a way.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
I'm invincible!
Ready, Jack? I was born.
Please, you kill it.
It's the flesh wound.
I am the father.
Welcome to the first episode of SludgeCast. The SludgeCast is me, Sludge, Matt Humphreys,
Hey guys.
Tyler Sneed,
What's up?
and we are here just to ranter and banter about what we love. Anything pop culture, superhero, movies, things that we enjoy, we figure you guys might enjoy too. And why we're doing this is because we love to do this. We love to talk, and we've had a lot of people, I know in my past, come to me and say, hey man, we'd love it if you did a podcast on some of the things that you talk about. Because we can get real in-depth in things like Star Wars. One big thing that we'll always do is Godzilla at some point somehow, because I'm Sludge, and I love Godzilla, so that's enough for me to talk about him every time. On this first episode, we've asked a few people to ask questions, which we'll hit later on towards the end of the episode on some of the topics we'll be talking about. How about we introduce everybody? Me being Sludge, if you're listening to this, a lot of you may know me. I used to be the former bass player and backing vocalist for The Protest. Toured for years with them, and pretty much just all-around big nerd. I have been a Godzilla fan since I was 5 years old. Superhero fan since I was 5 years old. So, I mean, I've been into it all for many, many years, and it's my peace from the world to get to escape is comic books and superheroes and Godzilla and movies, and I love to talk about stuff. My dad used to, or still does, compares me as the cleaner version of Kevin Smith, because if you ever watch any of his, they're not stand-ups, but his Q&As, the Evening with, they'll ask Kevin a question, and he'll go off on 7 or 8 different tangents, and then come back and answer that one question that was asked 20 minutes prior. I tend to do that, so another reason for why Matt and Tyler's here is to help me not do that.
Yeah, but you need some other clothes to be compared to.
That's true.
You need some,
I don't have the awesome
some jerseys
sound
and yeah, you know.
bob. I would love to get the 32 jersey.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great. Matt?
Yeah, my name is Matt Humphrey. I'm been around Southwest Virginia about my whole life. Taken a few trips, but overall, most of my time has been spent here. I am a nerd. Star Wars is my favorite movie. But more than that, I've got a daughter and a wife, 2 daughters and my wife, and they're at home, and I just want to give a shout out to them this first episode. So that's a little about me. How about Tyler?
I'm Tyler. I have 2 boys and a wife at home, so I guess the opposite of Matt there a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Just little details, you know.
Slight differences between the
Yeah.
female and
Just
males.
one small thing there. But I've always been into like the movies and stuff, especially when it came to superheroes. I'm with Matt. I like the Star Wars as well. Recently, Sludge has been getting me into more about comic books and kind of learning a little bit more of the history of superheroes and stuff like that. So that's kind of been a fun thing here recently that we've been picking up on.
Tomorrow is actually Comic-Con. Well, Comic-Con's going all weekend this weekend in Knoxville, Tennessee, close to where we're located. And I'm going to attempt, depending on what Tyler has, to get him an autograph tomorrow.
There you go.
By Sam De La Rosa.
Oh, yeah.
Which is going to be awesome. And I do want to rub in the fact that my Star Wars issue 3 from the 70s comic by Marvel will be autographed by the writer Roy Thomas, just to rub that into Matt's face for being such a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, that's wrong. Thanks, Chase.
You're welcome.
So mean.
All right, so that's us, and we definitely hope you enjoy this podcast. We're going to be doing this podcast 3 times a month. We'll have 2 main episodes each month, but we will talk about different topics. This month we'll be talking about the Avengers, Infinity War, and what's coming after that. And we'll also be touching on Legendary's MonsterVerse with Godzilla and King Kong. And then we'll have another episode in the month where we'll be discussing other topics. And then the 3rd episode will be a little different. It will be known as the Monster Movie Stop Down, in which me and my father, and then random guests, sometimes maybe Matt, maybe Tyler, maybe other people, will be jumping in and watching one giant monster flick, or one monster flick of some sorts. We'll review it, and then we will banter about it the entire episode. So let's jump in. Avengers Infinity War. So at this point, Avengers has crossed the $2 billion mark, which is huge. Not only that, it has taken Titanic down. And I'm so happy about that because Tyler and Matt both know I hate that movie. I don't like the word hate, but I hate Titanic. That movie was the biggest. I mean, James Cameron's great. Aliens was awesome. Terminator's amazing. Titanic is horrible. I mean, I did not want to sit there for 2 hours to watch the boat sink. So I'm glad Avengers beat it. It is technically done $2.032 billion as of this point, which is huge.
It's insane.
And if any of you haven't seen it yet, I don't know that you're a real person because I'm pretty sure everybody's
Why
seen
not?
it. Yeah. You stop listening right now, go to the movies,
Yes.
watch it, and then come back and listen to
Yes.
this afterwards because there will be spoilers. So I mean, it broke a lot of records. It was number 1 for worldwide openings. It was number 1 for single Saturday domestically, single highest grossing Sunday opening. It was the highest opening weekend for a domestic film in America. And it's the highest grossing Avengers movie of all time up to this point. We've got 3. We'll be coming out on Blu-ray real soon, August 14th, 2018. Super excited about it. We're going to jump in and discuss it. What did you guys think about the movie?
Absolutely loved it. I thought that it was well made. Obviously, graphics, everything. The story was fantastic. Even though they killed off everybody, or not kill, one of them floated
Spoiler
away.
alert, everybody dies.
Yes, everyone. Everyone that mattered, anyways.
All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I thought it was a great film. I thought the Russo brothers did an amazing job, and I'm already tired of watching YouTube speculation videos and theories for the next film.
What's going to happen
next year? I drove myself crazy for 2 weeks before this one came out, and now I'm driving myself for the new one. I've got another 8 months or whatever.
Oh man, it's not going to stop. You're going to continue watching those videos.
Yes, I know.
By the time you don't know what's going to happen now. By the time you get there, you're still not going to know what's going to happen. But you've invested so much time in that.
You'll have so many theories in your head, and it'll still be the wrong one. That's how Marvel goes.
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
Oh
yes.
yeah. Oh yeah. I thought it was a great film. I loved it, but it's like one of those you love it but you hate it at the same time. Like you're watching it, you're like, no, why did that happen? Like that can't happen. And so I did love it. I'm really excited to see what the next one brings. I've actually intentionally tried to stay away from the fan theories because I don't want to crowd my mind with what they think. I've got my own opinion, and I'm just going to stick with that, and that's what I'm going to do.
Watch like he's got his own theories that no one else has, and then it happens, and Tyler's right.
Yeah,
and nobody's going to believe me. They're like, "Oh, you didn't think that."
I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I felt like each act they kept the pacing was awesome. They kept it. There was never a dull moment, which was great. All the actors did a phenomenal job. I didn't mind the deaths, but again, I like movies like The Cabin in the Woods, where at the end,
nobody survives.
Yeah, no one survives. And it was so good. So I didn't have a. I mean, of course, we knew there was a lot of people that's going to die. So I kind of knew expecting, okay, people are going to be chopped off the chopping block and contracts are ending. But I thought it was great. I honestly think, to me, my favorite thing was Josh Brolin as Thanos. He absolutely, in my opinion, stole the entire show. The character himself just made you hate him as a villain, but you also sympathized with him, which I thought was phenomenal. You understood why he wanted to do this, why he wanted to destroy half the universe, and he made it make sense. And you're sitting there going, "Oh yeah, man, I can get with it," and then all of a sudden you're like, No, I shouldn't agree with this. This is, it's kind of like Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects, if anybody's seen that, where that family is despicable, and you want them arrested and convicted, and then at the end of the movie, they're driving down, to cross Mexican borders, and Leonard Skinner starts playing, and they're getting shot, and you're in tears going, no, I don't want them to die. That direction was just phenomenal. And Brolin was amazing at it.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it kind of blows your mind though how like one person can portray that and make you feel that way. Like you literally feel two ways during the movie. Like you're like,
oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, like you said, you understand his cause, and you're like, yeah, I can get my mind around that. But you're like, hold up, no, I shouldn't feel that way. And it's crazy how he makes you feel that way almost through the movie. It's crazy.
That's just great acting.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did wrong in Jonah Hex, though. He totally lost me in that one. Not a good comic movie. That's pretty low down there, in my opinion, for it. So we know a lot of people died. Loki, apparently, maybe, possibly. It's Loki. He dies a lot. Heimdall died. I don't think Heimdall's going to come back. I'm just going to say that.
No,
He's not big enough,
I don't think so either.
I've always loved Heimdall. Gamora, she was gone. I feel like Gamora was a real big surprise for everybody.
Well, she was huge. Yeah.
Like we just didn't see. We know she's going to be in Guardians 3. But
there's a third.
Yeah, surprise, man.
Spoiler.
So, I think her death may have been the biggest surprise for me, at least. And then, of course, Vision. He has to die because you need the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
So
you kind of knew that one was coming.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting that they kept almost the original Avengers who survived.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of taking it back to the origins. Who do you think do you think everybody's going to be back in the next film?
I think that there's going to be more deaths. That the key line for me in the whole film was "We don't trade lives, Captain," and Vision told that to Cap towards the end, and I think that's the key line for setting up the next movie. So they're not trading lives; it's all and I think that by him saying that to him, it's just opening up that some of the originals are not going to make it. And that's just the way it's going to be, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, they got to do a reboot at some point. I mean, they can't keep the same actors around forever. So we already know that. I know. We all wish we wish these guys were going to be around forever, but it's not realistic.
So okay, before we jump into who's coming back or not coming back, because I've got some big ideas I want to throw there. What do you think is going to happen in the next film, Tyler?
He can't say. He's keeping that secret.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah,
You're not
it's
going to
my
tell
theory.
us.
No, in my opinion, something's going to happen with the Time Stone. I think. I think that's one of the biggest parts. When Doctor Strange says that he saw so many possibilities, but only one was the one that was going to work.
With Tony as the key, right?
Yeah, with Tony as the
I
key.
think that's
Like
important.
something's going to be incorporated with
Yeah.
Tony. I don't really know how, but he seemed to give Tony that kind of understanding there. So I think that it's definitely going to involve Tony. But I think because Doctor Strange was the one that saw it, I think because it incorporated him, I feel like somehow that's going to evolve back to the Time Stone and really have something to do with it. I don't think that everyone's going to come back. I don't think Loki's dead. I think we'll see him in the second one. Or in the fourth one, I guess, in this point, but the second Infinity War. Yeah, I mean, I really have a strong feeling it's going to have something to do with the Time Stone on that.
Going with the Time Stone, man.
My first question, and I can't answer it because I don't know, and I want to see the answer, is how does Tony Stark get home? He's on Titan.
How does he get home?
Suit is smashed.
And that's the biggest thing. So to me, somebody else has to get, if it's the Time Stone, they have to get that first. How are they going to get that from him? Or, I don't know, maybe Thanos misses Gamora that much and he goes back. I don't know.
It's a possibility.
And that's just maybe his relationship that he develops with her, that he has with her, and that the compassion he has for her, maybe it just finally eats him up. I don't know. I don't think it will. But I don't know. I just want to know how Tony Stark gets home.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. How does he get?
I mean, he's out in the middle of space, and who knows where is it? Who's it? Tony? Is there anybody else with him? Did anybody else survive?
That's on Drax. Is Drax on?
No,
there?
Drax.
No,
all the Guardians are gone
Yeah,
besides Rocket,
Yeah.
Rabbit, whatever you
and
wanna
Rocket's
call
on
him.
Earth.
Yeah,
No, yeah, Tony's out there all alone.
unless Thor finds him somehow. or-
That could be the only way.
You know.
Could be the only way. Which, I mean, when Thor comes back,
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I was talking to my father and said the two best scenes, because he still has not seen Infinity War, so I don't know what's wrong with him, but the two best scenes in the movie for me was when Star-Lord and Gamora are talking about him having to kill her if need be, and Drax is sitting there in the corner eating the chips, and like Jack's been doing, he's like, "You can't see me. I have perfected the art of invisibility by moving so
is the
slow."
best sequence.
Oh, man. It's so good.
Yeah, his interactions with the Guardians in that movie is priceless.
Oh, it is. I mean, he blew my mind, and then Thor coming when he did, and that battle was unbelievable.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, because I feel like for Thor, that character in so many times in the previous films has really kind of, Ragnarok did him justice, but I feel like everything previous didn't do Thor justice, because he's Thor. You know what I mean? He's a god, and he's, the son of on Asgard.
Exactly.
He can take down anybody. I mean, comic book wise, he's one of the few that took down Thanos. You know what I mean? He can go toe to toe with those guys, and it's like, I feel like he didn't get that moment of just being truly showing how just bad he is.
Yeah, see, that was
this movie.
That was one question I had at the very beginning when Thanos has Thor by the head. I'm thinking, where's the lightning, dude? Bust it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? And who knows why they didn't show it? I don't know.
Well, the Russo brothers did a great job.
Yes, they did.
And I mean, you also have to think that throughout the whole, the Thor movies, I mean, he's discovering who he is. Like, there for a long time. I mean, he's thinking
Good point.
it's all about the hammer. He's not realizing that it's him that has the
Well, yeah,
power.
he didn't even realize it until
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, we say, man, he kind of held himself back, but, he was actually the one struggling. I mean, he had to figure out who he was, and then that's when, he became the god of thunder. We experienced that in Ragnarok, and I think we just kind of see that continuing into the Avengers. So I think that's kind of why we didn't see it in the first two.
Very true.
They kind of had to set the stage.
I do not think the time stone is how they're going to fix it. I don't. I think it's going to be the quantum realm, because that's going to be huge next weekend.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Man and the Wasp.
They're able to go into the quantum realm. Apparently, Pym makes some kind of a vehicle, and if you're going to the quantum realm, you can fix anything, at that point. So I think that's going to play a huge role. I mean, that's possibly part of why we didn't see Ant-Man in Avengers Infinity War. I think that's going to be big. I think we're going to see the return of some of the characters. Like Spider-Man's going to be back. I mean, Gamora will be back. But we're going to see a lot more die, too. Cap, that's I think he's gone the next film. So
Yeah, I really wish they wouldn't just make him Captain America. I mean, he's already dropped his shield. He's not really Captain America anyways, to me.
it's true.
He's already given that up. So I really wish they wouldn't kill his character, because he's one of my favorite of the movies. He's one of my favorite characters in the movie, period. I don't know what it is. I liked when they went back to the war and his involvement there. I thought that was amazing. Of course, I think that's how his comic book was anyways. In the 40s or whatever. But I just wish he just maybe when they go back in time or the quantum realm, Peggy comes back and they finally get to do their dance, and they're just together forever.
Wow, that would be awesome.
It would be
Didn't think
amazing.
like that. That is.
I mean,
That
I
would
did say
be a
he could
good
fix
way.
anything.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I did. I mean, that would be awesome. I never thought about that, because, and this is, so we know who's leaving. Chris Evans is obviously one of them. And how do you replace Captain America? I mean, we've got Bucky, we've got Falcon.
It's got to be Bucky, though.
It's got to be. I mean, because I was talking to Rob. I think his last name's Pyle. He owns a comic book shop, Mount Empire Comics, in our area. His big convention, RobCon's actually in a couple weeks. And I was talking to him today about the subject about Captain America and whether or not it'd be Bucky or the Falcon. And when you look back at it, Bucky was more of a sidekick, and he kind of brought up to that role, which is reminiscent to me of Batman and Robin, because Dick Grayson at certain times has been one of the only few people to don the cowl, where the Falcon was never a sidekick. He was more of a true partner, because his comic books, when he came out and got big, it was Captain America and the Falcon. It was just never Captain America and then, his sidekick. Bucky was always that way. So I don't see the Falcon taking the mantle.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think Bucky.
It's more of a redemption story for Bucky too, in my mind.
Exactly,
It's what he, he really had no control over what happened to Tony's parents, but that's just a redemption for him. Second chance to prove himself.
I think it would be perfect for him, because he's if he takes on the mantle of Cap, you're looking at who's arguably maybe the most righteous character in Marvel in general, let alone the movies that we're seeing. And he knows that, and that's his friend. Look what all he's done for him since the Winter Soldier. Yeah. And so, a redemption story for that would be perfect. I think Matt nailed it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there's
Kevin
Feige. No sense adding to that.
We have figured out what you're doing with Captain America now, and it's on SludgeCast.
So I just talked to him earlier today. So.
Okay, so that's why that's what it is.
Got the inside scoop.
This is who we know is leaving for a fact. Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt. So we got Star-Lord leaving. Now he's got Guardians 3, but as far as this phase, he's out. Tom Hiddleston, Samuel L. Jackson, Jeremy Renner, and Mark Ruffalo. But Mark Ruffalo said he's very interested in renegotiating his contract. So I'd like to see more of the Hulk. But so Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Star-Lord, Loki, Nick Fury, and Hawkeye. Could be Ronan. We forgot to talk about that. So
yes,
I think that's what we didn't see Hawkeye in Infinity War. He's been seen on set in a more Ronin costume, so I want to see him come back and just annihilate as Ronin. Ronin was such a better character than Hawkeye, I think, because I feel like he had no barrier. You know what I mean? If he had to do it, he had to do it. If it was for the greater good, someone had to fall off a building or be thrown or whatever, it's got to be done. I loved him as Ronin. So we're losing all those characters. I do think it's interesting that Josh Brolin is actually staying with Marvel. So we may see the end of the fight next movie, but we won't see the end of Thanos. He'll be back, which is good because he's still at the show. He's the man in this one.
That what's interesting to me is if that does happen with him staying on, that they haven't carried a villain over very much, and then that would be something pretty cool they could incorporate into the next phase is another villain. Some other superheroes have done that before. Of course, like Superman, Lex Luthor's always there. He never, and it's just, so is Thanos going to always be there? That'd be kind of interesting.
I think that'd be cool.
That's always a worry and a fear and a doubt for them.
Oh yeah, because very few people can take him on.
Exactly.
So that's
yeah.
I didn't realize that he was going to be coming back, and now the more I think about it, they have never kept a villain. It's always been kind of like at the end of the movie, they're done, like they're gone, they're destroyed. So that's going to be interesting to see. I didn't realize they were doing that.
Yeah. So I think, and we forgot the big.
No, he turns good. That's what it is.
That's
is that what it is?
They would blow our minds. That would be the biggest red herring ever. Yes. Ever. Like, well, we're just kidding. Thanos is actually a good guy now.
They have a riot on their hands.
We totally forgot about to talk about the very end.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel is coming. I'm stoked. The pictures I've seen of her as Brie Larson, which I love Brie Larson in Kong Skull Island, which we'll get into later.
Yes.
She looks great as Captain Marvel, and I think it's really awesome that they're doing the Carol Danvers part to it.
So she saves Tony.
There you go. Yes. You just answered it. She does. That's who it is. She's going to save Tony. I think I'm excited for the film. Disney's buying Fox. Fox owns Wolverine. Carol Danvers and Logan had a long career together. Just bring Wolverine back. Hugh Jackman, come back. We need you to come back at this point. I'm excited about it. I'm wondering how much they're going to put into the movie. with her history, with the way she was created. I'm sure the controversial things and as far as her character will be kept out. But I mean, before Captain Marvel, there was a prior Captain Marvel who was a guy, but then she took on the role, and then she got her powers from a Kree general who gave his life for her, I think, something like that. Then got these superpowers, and now she's Captain Marvel and goes and fights the Kree Skrull War, and I think that's where most of this movie's going to be at, is in that war, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably, yeah. I
so?
would think so, yeah.
So she's going to be a huge part in the next movie. Huge part.
That's what I'm excited about. That I'm excited about them bringing Ronan back for that. I loved his villain in Guardians, the original Guardians movie. I love the actor that portrays him. I love his voice. I just love to hear him talk.
He's so good.
It's so good. And so I'm excited to see him back on the screen.
He's going to be awesome. My only complaint with him was I felt like he was like on the verge of the Batman drool. Like, do you remember from Batman Begins when everyone sees Batman and under the fear thing, he's like drooling, just like all over his mouth. Like that was my one thing. I was watching Ronan, I'm like, you are awesome except the Batman drool. We've got to get rid of the Batman drool. But he's such a good character, and I felt like he was kind of underplayed a lot in the first Guardians.
A little bit, yeah.
Because he was much more of a bigger bad guy.
Yeah.
Than I think he came about. You know, which I know you got to make room for Thanos, but doesn't mean he's got to be a wimp. You know, he wasn't a wimp in it, but I mean, he's way more just boss in the comic books. So, do you have anything else on the Avengers? You guys got anything else you want to
No, I mean that's pretty much all.
We've got some questions on it, but we'll hit the questions at the end.
Sounds good.
We had some people ask some questions we want to get to, so it is interesting. I don't know where they're going to go. They haven't even titled the next movie. The next movie comes out May 3rd, 2019, and it cannot get here soon enough, and it needs to get here. Well, now. I just want it now.
Exactly.
Take
what
my
happens to Tony Stark?
Yes. I think you may be right. Captain Marvel may be a good option there. So
Matt doesn't care about anything else. Just tell me how Iron Man gets back.
I just want to know how he gets back.
Bothers me, man.
That's all I want to know.
Or Nebula. Is Nebula's with him? Nebula's with him.
Yes, Nebula's with him. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That answers that question.
Which she can stay, so it's just because what help is she, Nebula, anyways? You know what I mean? If you think about it,
absolutely none.
None. I mean, there may be somebody listening. It's like, I love Nebula. You probably like Howard the Duck too. You're so those characters that just does nothing for anybody. No, I shouldn't say that, but there's other characters. I mean, I understand why they put her in there, being Gamora's sister, but. She was one of those characters I felt like could have taken a little more of a back or role.
Could have. I think she may play a bigger role in the next one. Because she wears the gauntlet in the comics, right?
Yes.
Doesn't she?
Yes.
So they may go that way.
That's true. What about Red Skull? We didn't bring him up.
Nah, he's done.
You think he's done?
Yeah, I think he's
done. I think that was just in there to kind of throw everyone off. I don't think you'll see him.
Man, that was awesome. Too.
That was out of nowhere. Yeah.
Like, yes. We know in the next movie we're going to have everybody on screen at one point together. Everybody. Iron Man, Captain America, Thanos, Spider-Man. Every character is on set at one point in what we can only assume is a massive fight. How awesome would it be to see Red Skull come in and go up against Cap and Bucky for even just a moment, just one moment, I don't care if it's just like he shows up, and this would be a great way to do it. He shows up, and all of a sudden Cap and Bucky look at each other, look at him, one punch, he's out, just out. But to throw that little bit in there just to satisfy me, I love Red Skull.
Hate to disappoint, I don't think it's going to happen.
Why? So anyway, everybody listening, if you've got your own fan theories, definitely reach out to us on the Facebook page and tell us what you think. We've got time stone theories, quantum realm theories, Captain Marvel will save Tony, or Matt will cry, or it's going to have to be Thor, So I know we're all excited about it. We have no idea where they're going. We know a bunch are leaving, obviously, because we got to make room for new heroes. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, especially with Disney buying Fox. That opens up so many doors, if they ever finish the deal, to characters coming underneath the same roof and who we can bring over. We're bringing over the X-Men, and Deadpool can stay on his own because I just think his movies work for what they are. Don't bring him into the MCU because we like the way it's going. So, but and talking about Marvel, the next movie is coming up soon, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Excited for it.
Yes.
I cannot wait.
Yes.
It looks great.
Yes.
It's one of those movies where, like, Black Panther was huge for its reasons, but I feel like Ant-Man and Wasp is more one of those movies it's that fun, feel-good movie. They love the comedy. He's not, I mean, they know it's not going to be a Captain America or Iron Man movie, but it's still going to be a good movie. It's going to bring in money, and I think it's good because we need a feel-good moment at this point right now.
Seriously.
Everyone's dead. You know, I mean, pretty much. You know,
We're all
everyone's
kind of
gone.
depressed now.
Yeah, so we need something that's going to make us laugh. So I think it's perfect timing for them. I'm interested to see what happens. I like that Ghost is in it, which is really cool. I really cannot wait to see the relationship between Hope and him develop. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be awesome. Because if we look back, of course, talking about Avengers, they were actually part of the original Avengers. You know, of course, now he was Scott. No, Hank wasn't he? Wasn't it Hank and Hope? If I remember. Anyways, but he was Pym was Giant Man at one point, and then you had Wasp. But I like the way they've done, you know, bringing Scott in as Ant-Man, all that stuff. So I mean, there's another part of the next Avengers I think is really huge. Is bringing her in is very important because they're key roles to the Avengers anyways, and is perfect to move into the next phase with.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. My only disappointment, and I already think about it, is that it's the last Marvel movie this year.
Oh yeah.
So we got another few months before we see Captain Marvel. I guess that's first next year, right? Isn't it?
Yep.
Before the Avengers.
Hey, DC may save us this year. We'll see. We'll talk about that here in a minute.
Aquaman.
Jason Momoa is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, but no. I think the I'm excited. I love the first Ant-Man. I thought it was a great film, and feel good movie, just like you were talking about. And I love all the actors and actresses they've got to portray these characters. I think they've done a perfect job.
Paul Rudd is awesome.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
he is so good in that movie.
He's the best. Best when it
good.
comes to the Ant-Man. I'm looking forward to it, and I know you guys are gonna laugh at me on this. I'm ready to see Luis back again. I love that guy, man. He cracks me up
Awesome.
every time.
What's the line in the trailer? He says, "It's like, you remember we broke into your house?" It's
Yeah.
like, yes.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
Best supporting cast, and
for real.
I'm interested to see what Lawrence Fishburne does in the
Yeah.
movie. You know, I forgot he was in the trailer, and quite a hilarious topic, but but I want to know what his role is because I love Lawrence. So it's cool seeing so many people cross universes because Lawrence was obviously in Superman and, you know, Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel, and now he's on the Marvel side, so what role is he going to play? You have, actually, just jumping on it, it was announced yesterday that Jared Leto will be well, we don't know if he's going to be Morbius, but he has been cast in the Morbius Living Vampire movie that Sony's going to be doing, which he's Morbius. I mean, you're not going to cast somebody like Jared Leto if he's not Morbius in that movie. And, you know, he was the Joker in DC. So it's just all the DC people are starting to jump ship, and they're like, hey, Marvel's better.
They're finding out what's good.
We're getting there. DC has its moments, and it wasn't Green Lantern. But
Definitely was not Green Lantern.
I love that movie, though.
I do too.
Green Lantern's awesome. So
I own it, so it's
which would be perfect segue because the next thing we want to talk about is some good movies coming up the rest of the year we want to see, and obviously one of them is going to be Aquaman.
yes.
I think it's going to be good
I do too.
for being Aquaman. He surprised me in Justice League. I've never been an Aquaman fan. You guys have heard me say before, he's got the powers of SpongeBob and kind of.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle.
That's right. Yes, I'm sorry. That's
It's so wrong, man. Compare Aquaman to those two guys.
he is. I mean,
SpongeBob.
I will say, I will give him some credit. In years past, it's always been this pasty white guy in this suit. I mean, they got a really
orange
good,
and purple and
yeah.
and
I mean,
Mermaid Man and Barnacle
Jason
Boy.
Momoa, you're not getting him in a suit like that. I mean,
No.
come on, like he
Not
is
at all.
he is legit Aquaman. I will say that. Like,
think
they cast that really.
when
good.
anyone says Aquaman anymore, they alwaes relate it to the Big Bang Theory and the costumes they wear all the time, and
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, okay, that's
I think Momoa's going to kill him, man.
I do
Which
too.
Momoa is from, I don't know if he's from the Philippines or New Zealand. He's from out
Yeah.
around that Australia area. So, and I know he went to school for marine biology. So he's very much a very aquatic person anyways, loves that. So, I mean, that was real big for him in taking the role. So someone like him who has the physique, the look to actually make Aquaman look awesome and not pasty white guy that, can talk
Blonde
to fish.
hair.
Yeah. I mean, he's the king of Atlantis. He's got to be awesome. He's cooler than Namor. I'll at least say that much. I did not like Namor. Marvel's version, in case anyone doesn't know who Namor is, of Aquaman. He did great in Justice League.
Yeah.
He blew me away.
Yeah.
And
Him and the Flash, they were awesome.
the one thing that makes me excited about Aquaman is Black Manta. I don't know why, but watching, like the old Super Friends cartoons or anything, mainly just cartoons of the Justice League or that Aquaman's involved, you always had Black Manta. And I always loved Black Manta. I don't know why, because I feel like he fits perfectly in, like, He-Man and the Masters universe. You know what I mean? Like, the way he looks. So I'm pretty excited to see Black Manta in this one. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So, anybody else got anything to say about Aquaman? Because that's pretty much all you can say about Aquaman.
Jason Momoa made it. That's
He did.
all.
But no, I think it's good they're going to bring. I'm assuming they're going to bring more of his origin into it. Also, about they related to it in the Justice League film about his mother and things like that. The Queen and whatever. So I think that's important. As you've seen Marvel do with these characters, just to lay background for them. Just so other people get interested in it, because I do think it's going to be really good.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm honestly looking more forward to, and of course we're still about a year away for Wonder Woman. I think it's now titled Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, 84.
I'm really excited about that because I think other than Ben Affleck's Batman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman's the best there is in the DC universe right now. She is phenomenal. She was great in the movie. She was great in Batman versus Superman, great in Justice League. And to see her go up against Cheetah in this movie is going to be awesome. I think it's really going to be pretty cool because I hope part of me just wants to kind of be like, okay, we're going to watch them, pull each other's hair and just cat brawl. But no, they're not going to do that. That would just be, I think it would be hilarious. Be like, why did you take this turn and angle very stereotypically? But I think it's going to be good to see them because you don't get to see very rarely a powerful female supervillain. And Cheetah was a very good villain for Wonder Woman. So I think it's going to be great. Excited to see that one. I think more excited about that than I am anything that DC's got going currently for what's coming, other than The Flash, but we're still a little ways away from that one. So.
Yeah.
Also coming out this year, and we've got a nice little list here that we want to make sure and talk about, is Disney's Christopher Robin is the next of the Disney live-action turn of movies. And I thought Jungle Book was phenomenal. I haven't watched Beauty and the Beast yet. Did either of you guys see that yet?
Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah.
Yeah, several times. I have 2 girls, man.
Well, I've got
a sister and a niece, so I've seen it.
I mean, I love Jungle Book. Bill Murray as Baloo was awesome, but I don't know. I'm very classic Disney. Love the cartoon ones. Lion King was great. Tarzan was great, but and we've talked about this before. I like Mary Poppins. I like the old Disney. I do love Winnie the Pooh. Grew up with Winnie the Pooh, so that's probably the most excited one I am. I wasn't in a big rush to see Beauty and the Beast. Obviously, still haven't seen it. I know we got Aladdin coming out next year. I'm sure at some point I'll see it, but Christopher Robin looks awesome to me. I think it's going to be great. Live action Pooh is going to be...
Yeah, Ewan McGregor,
Oh, dude. He can act in anything, I think.
Obi-Wan.
Yes. Obi-Wan is awesome. See, the only reason why I'm okay with us not having an Obi-Wan solo film, again, we are big Star Wars fans, so if we go on tangents, you'll have to bear with us, is... He was great as Obi-Wan. I don't want another Obi-Wan. And we got enough story, from episode 1, as horrible as it was, but still a good Star Wars film, all the way up until, New Hope. We've got pretty much his whole life. An Obi-Wan movie to me would be just like a couple side missions, and some dude that's not Ewan McGregor. So we don't have to do that. But I'm excited to see him.
No, I think you're right. even the cartoons, they show so much of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and what they go through.
What can you tell?
Yeah, I was gonna say they've already told his story. Like, why go back and do it again?
And it's been awesome every time they've shown him on screen. Like it's Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But so, anyways, Ewan McGregor back to Christopher Robin. Let's reel me back in here. I'm excited about it. I think it looks great. Winnie the Pooh's banter is probably one of my favorite things in the trailer. What's one of the lines he says is somebody says that they tell me nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day.
Yes.
Like I love his lines in this movie.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm excited to see as far as I know, I've not watched a lot of the Winnie the Pooh over the most recent years, but as a kid, Christopher was always going to help Pooh and the gang. Mm-hmm. So seeing Pooh and the gang come out and help Christopher, I think is really cool. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see Eeyore in the real world. I mean, he would fit in so many places, but to hear his banter is going to be, I'm excited about it. It's going to be really good.
Yeah. I think you're right. I didn't grow up watching Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. I got two brothers, and so it kind of seemed like I was older than them, and when they were watching cartoons, it was a little different. But we never watched Winnie the Pooh. Of course, we didn't have Disney Channel either. But
we had like 3 channels on our wooden box TVs.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when my parents had a black and white TV, and it was a little red box. I could still see it sitting on their dresser today, and you had the rabbit ear, click, click, click. Yeah. What's UHF and VHF? What's all these? Why can't these little? But anyways, but no, I mean. I'm excited to see it. One for my daughters, just because I think they know who Pooh is, and I've watched a lot of Winnie the Pooh stuff with them, and they enjoy it. So I'm excited for that because I think I've seen almost every live action Disney movie, and they've all been really, really, really good. I mean, it's Disney, but
yeah,
but I'm excited. I'm excited to see some more Pooh.
We all love seeing more Pooh.
That's awkward.
I like to see Pooh. Could have used a better choice for it.
My kids are still a little too young, so they definitely don't know who Winnie the Pooh is and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to find some other kids to take, so I don't look so foolish going in to see it.
You're gonna go to church and be like, I need to borrow some children. Can we borrow some?
Can I borrow my niece for a night? Just go to see Winnie the Pooh or Christopher Robin. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it because that's something I grew up with. Like I did grow up watching the cartoons and the movies when I was little. Me being the youngest one in the group, that was kind of what I grew up on.
See, that was one of the I wanted to run on that for a second. Like I was like, I gotta find somebody to take. How awkward is it going to be, or would it be for like a parent with their kids going and you see like this 30-year-old man walking in by himself to see Winnie the Pooh? It's like, no, you're not allowed in. I was like, okay, well, how about, we go from SludgeCast? That's worse. No kids.
3 grown men.
Yeah, no, we'll take an army of children with us. So, the next movie I'm super excited about, unbelievably excited about, because I'm a huge fan of the series. I've read every book except the one that just came out in March, is The Meg. It comes out August 10th. The biggest thing to know is it's Jason Statham versus a giant shark. That is blockbuster through and through right there. A little bit about The Meg is based off a series of books by Steve Alten, New York Times bestseller. He's done, I think the 5th book just came out. Phenomenal books. And Steve Alten did such a great job in breaking down and trying to figure out the science of how a prehistoric great white shark, the Megalodon carcharodon, could still exist today. And it all comes from the Mariana Trench, deepest place in the ocean. It did a phenomenal job. If y'all have not seen the trailer for this, watch it. Do not expect this to be an Academy Award winner. This is just going to be fun summer block. This is Jaws. It's what it is. It's
a modern day Jaws.
Yeah,
so
it's one of those movies where it's going to be so much fun and such a big talk of the summer. Everyone wants to see it. I'm super excited because I really hope at least one point Jason Statham tries one karate kick on the shark, like just one time. You know what I mean? Just he plays Jonas Taylor in it, but he's got to be Jason Statham for a moment.
Punch him in the nose, see if it works.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Or he rips all his teeth out.
He could do it.
Yeah,
anybody could do it. Jason Statham could do it.
I know.
Yeah. What about you? Now, Ty, we talked a little bit earlier. You finally watched the trailer for Meg.
Yes,
so.
I have watched the trailer. I'm just a big Jason Statham fan, so I'm looking forward to actually kind of seeing this one. I've never, we had talked about this previously. Again, I've never been big into these kind of movies, but like after seeing it, I'm like, I may go watch this one. This one looks pretty legit.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I've never even heard of it until I saw the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, I like movies like that. We actually saw the trailer for it before Jurassic World. And I turned my wife, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go see that. She's like, I'm not.
Like, no.
I was like, I have to go with Chase.
We're going.
But yeah, I'm super excited just to. It's going to be a fun movie.
Oh man, I can't wait. Yeah. And I really with the books, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I mean, they plan on trying. If it does well, it's going to be a series. It's just going to be a summer blockbuster series of films. There's so many cool things that happen in the books, more than just the Meg. My only beef, but I understand it's a movie, so some things have to change, that I kind of wish, because I've read the book. I think I've read the book maybe 5 or 6 times now. Like, I love the book. The book is so good. My daughter has read it twice. She actually has my copy of it now. She loves it, so she's stoked about it. Was where the Megalodon lives at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It was born there. His pigment, he's albino. He has no pigment whatsoever. So a lot of the attacks do happen at night in the book, and the Meg glows, almost like a glow-in-the-dark color because of his pigmentation underneath the moon. And it made for some amazing, scary, just great capture scenes where you've got one scene where these people are just, having a nice little party on their sailboat, and then all of a sudden this glow just starts to show up. And it's just, they have no idea what it is, but as a reader what's about to take place. I kind of wish they could have kept that in the movie, but I'm sure millions of people that will go watch it have never read the book. That just wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. You got to do that. Yeah. But I'm excited about it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rainn
Wilson.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I forgot about that.
Can't leave.
Gosh, yes, I love him so much.
Oh, he's so good. It's like, why don't we just tag it? Haven't y'all ever watched Shark Week? Like, he's so good. He's going to be great as the comedic relief, I think, in that big time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The next big one that I know I'm super excited about, and I think, and Tyler, you've talked about this too, is September 14th, The Predator. I love the Predator movies. I love the Alien movies. So when the Aliens and Predators got together, even though they were not good movies, they were still great movies to me, in my opinion. I'm so stoked about this. The Predator, of course, came back out in the 80s. John McTiernan film. Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, was the big star. This was when he was doing movies like The Running Man and Total Recall, and Commando was okay, I guess. But he was in his, he was coming up. Conan the Barbarian. So he was in the original Predator by John McTiernan. Great movie. Little side note, if you guys didn't know this, or anyone listening, the Predator was actually originally supposed to be played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Did y'all know that?
I did not know that.
Yes. But Jean-Claude...
He's too short.
Way too short to go up against Arnold Schwarzenegger, and too small too.
Oh yeah.
Found out because he got casted. He got hired. He actually was hired, but found out he was going to be wearing a costume the whole time because he's this alien. So they never see him himself, and pitched a fit.
Oh my
gosh. Pitched a fit and quit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure he won't listen, and because I don't want him to come kick my butt, but I don't think he could nowadays, anyways. But so. Predator became huge. It was a huge blockbuster hit. It spawned, in my opinion, the second one is my favorite one. You brought in Danny Glover. Steven Sommers was the director. He was big in horror at the time, especially I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4. He did one of the sequels to Nightmare on Elm Street, so he was a real big name. Came on and did a great job with it. Of course, the first movie takes place in the jungles in South America, moves to the streets of L.A. Then you get, Predators, which was a great movie, but had a lot of flaws. But it's still a phenomenal movie. Anyways, the new one's coming. What I love about the new one is Shane Black is directing. Fred Decker's writing with him. Fred Dekker and Shane Black have had a lot of history together. For those who don't know, they're the ones who brought us the amazing movie, The Monster Squad. Which Matt, have you seen Monster Squad?
No, I haven't seen.
Oh
that
my gosh, I know you haven't, Tyler.
No,
We've got to get you guys to watch this. It is the Goonies meets the original Universal horrors monsters. You know, it's like the Dracula character, the Mummy, but then you throw in the Goonies with it. You know, it is so good. It is such a good movie. I mean, it's one of those ones where it's like, it's a family type movie. You know, it's not a horror movie, but it's got the horror characters. But it's so good. It's so good. Shane Black was also in the original Predator. He was in it as, cannot remember the character's name now. Just Hopkins. He was Hopkins in the original Predator film. And actually, when you listen back to the intro music for the podcast, there's a quote in there that says, it's Hopkins, it's Shane Black, and Jesse the Body Ventura, where it's a scene from the Predator movie where he runs up to him underneath this little hut and he's like, "Dude, you're bleeding, man." And Jesse Ventura's like, "I ain't got time to bleed." You know, because he's Jesse the Body Ventura. He's the man. So I'm super stoked. Shane Black's coming back. He's directing it. Fred Decker's writing with him, so it's a great team to start with. He loves it. He has made sure, hey, it's practical effects as much as possible. Very little CGI in it. We're going to see predators team up with humans to fight up against an ultimate predator. The trailer looks fantastic. I'm stoked. I mean, the Yautja, which is the name of the species, I think is one of the greatest characters in sci-fi, action, horror, anything. I mean, it's just a brilliant character who is bad, but good in their own way. I mean, they're hunters. You know, I mean, that's their rite of passage. It just stinks because when they hunt us, they tend to, take our spines out in the process. So it's not nice for us at all. But
minor details,
just minor, But I mean, it's. I'm stoked. I cannot wait for it. I mean, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I mean, I actually watched the original Predator again the other night on whatever it was on. I don't remember, but I was like, yeah, this is really cool because I mean he's invisible. I mean, he just
can't even see him.
He's just like all you see is a shimmer, and that's cool. I mean, that's.
I love it. Or the scene in the original where I can't remember the name of the actor. It's an African American actor who plays the Predator. Picks Arnold up and has him face to face, and Arnold is like 6 inches off the ground. The dude is huge, huge.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, that movie is full of like the biggest men on earth. Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like
poor Apollo. He still doesn't make it.
No, the only thing he ever makes it in is Action Jackson. I don't know if and that is about as cheesy as an action film as it can be. So, did you haven't seen anything about Predator?
I have not seen a single.
So it's probably going to be one of the ones that you will want to skip. I mean, it's because it's going to be bloody, definitely. If you see by the trailer, it's going to be. So
yeah.
Tyler's are awesome. What I love about Tyler being on the show is Tyler definitely, because we're all big Christians here, and we definitely keep an eye on what we take in. But Tyler has an interesting spin because there's a lot of stuff he hasn't seen, so it's a fresh take on anything, which I think is really, really cool. And also gives us room to talk about some things too, and get a different opinion. So. Tyler, you have a giant alien that hunts us, and we have to fight off against it.
I know the general story. I'm not like totally sheltered on that.
Okay, good.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem. But yeah, that's all. Anyways, stoked about it. The next big movie that's going to be huge is Venom. Venom, October 5th. My favorite superhero, whatever you want to call him. He's it. I mean, there's no better comic book character, in my opinion, than Venom. He's my favorite. I've got issue 1 of the very first, Venom comic book, Lethal Protector. Never been opened, sealed. We've got Tom Hardy playing Venom coming out October 5th. The trailer looks so awesome. What I loved about when they did the first teaser trailer was you saw the symbiote in a container, but you never saw Venom, because that made so many people mad. I was mad, and because we kind of got a really bad taste from Spider-Man 3.
That was a great movie. I'm just
kidding. That was
the worst ever.
I'm pretty sure the 77 Spider-Man movie was much better than Spider-Man 3 on every aspect. I could not handle the emo. Tobey
Maguire
that was
ruined
funny.
That
I
was,
mean,
I mean, it was funny, but like what they were going for, it just made it awkward.
It made me cringe.
It
made me cringe.
It was terrible.
Yes, the where he's doing the shoulder. No, I can't do it. I don't watch that movie. I don't watch it. But so for them to bring out the next trailer and finally show,
We're all dancing if you can.
they're doing the Tobey Maguire dance from Spider-Man 3. So,
Just watch like the 1 minute clip there, and you'll know exactly what we're doing right now.
see what they're doing.
They did ruin more than just Venom. I think they did injustice to Gwen Stacy's character in that movie as well.
Yes, they did.
They
did.
It was much better in the second round, Amazing Spider-Man. They did a wonderful job with her character there.
Oh yeah.
So
I think they even
just
expanded on her character.
Yeah, they did a really good job. So it wasn't just Venom.
Yeah, it's true. It wasn't just Venom.
It was just a bad movie overall.
Yeah,
it was. Sandman, no. Yeah, I mean, it was the giant Sandman monster I couldn't get into. It was rough. It was rough. I think Sam, because I know there was a lot of fighting went on between Sony and Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
That I think at some point Sam just said, whatever, I don't care. Just I want to be done with it.
Yeah.
I really think that's how he felt. But so when they brought it back to Venom, the new one that's coming out, I love the new trailer when the one bad guy has got Eddie on the ground. And he's like, yo, what are you? And he comes up and he says, we are Venom. Like, that reveal told me, this is going to be the best comic movie ever, ever. For me, at least. Like, I'm super, super stoked. It's going to be interesting to see, I think, because it takes place in the Sony Spider-Man universe, which is in the MCU. But I don't know that we will ever see Venom in the MCU, which it would be awesome. I would love that. But we'll see how that goes. They are pulling a lot from the Lethal Protector storyline and Separation Anxiety, which I think is pretty interesting because that means we have to see other symbiotes. I mean, I want to know who the main villain is because they have teased Carnage, but we know Carnage isn't really going to be the main villain. Woody Harrelson has finally announced that he is Carnage, which is the perfect cast for Carnage. Oh, if you want a psychotic serial killer, Woody Harrelson is your man.
Yes, he is.
I mean, you saw what he did for a Twinkie, and so,
take a little.
Yes, that was awesome.
So, him as Cletus Cassidy is going to be so good. But you've got to have. It's going to be interesting because there's a lot at play here. Mm-hmm. One, you can't have Venom without Spider-Man, and we haven't seen Spider-Man yet. We do know Tom Holland was on set during the making of the film, but we don't know to what degree. But with Lethal Protector, it's really the move of him being an anti-hero. And there's a lot in the Venom character that I think kind of has to be explained beforehand as to why he becomes the anti-hero. And so I'm interested to see how they play that out. We do know that Anne Wayne, Eddie Brock's wife, is in the film. In the trailer, you see them talking at dinner. They're not married yet, I don't think. Maybe they are, I don't know. She at one point becomes Venom. She becomes She-Venom because the symbiote is pulled from Eddie and it goes to Anne to rescue him, and unfortunately she commits suicide because she can't handle the separation from it. But it looks awesome. I'm interested to see where they're going to go. Venom looks amazing. He does not look like the little boy band Venom from Spider-Man 3. It looks. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
We just keep talking about Spider-Man 3.
That movie's so bad. I mean, if I had a top 5 worst superhero films all time, Spider-Man 3's in it. There's no question, and that's with Ben Affleck's Daredevil too, and that was
that was pretty bad. Yeah.
Theatrical version or the director's cut that was better, but anyways. So Venom, I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys know? Because this is one I'm huge on. I'm so huge.
I'm a Tom Hardy fan, and I think I've seen just about all his movies that he's been in, pretty close, and it looks awesome. It looks. I don't know a lot of backstory on Venom, but I'm excited to see because the visual effects look amazing.
Oh, it does.
And the trailers.
So it looks so good. And then Tom Hardy is a great actor.
Yes.
Mad Max Fury Road, so good in that. And he said so little,
Yeah.
I mean, for a role that made Mel Gibson the star that he was, he did far better than Mel Gibson, I think. It was so good. And even as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
Martello, baby. Oh, he pumped me up in that movie. Tyler, what do you think about that?
I don't have too much background into Venom. So like my my initial was him in Spider-Man 3. And I was like, man, what a crap character! Like
that was your first experience
like
with
that,
Venom character.
that was Venom to me. Like that was what I knew him as. So like
I did not know
I was
this.
like, this is so crappy. Like this is, I mean, like you said, it's like the backstreet pretty boy.
It is a boy band.
That
Black
you know
Spider-Man.
just wants revenge on Spider-Man. That's like all it was. And you're just like, man, this is so crappy. Like,
Man, I am so heartbroken at that now. I mean,
well,
like,
but see, now I get to go watch a movie and find out exactly what
There
Venom
you
is
go.
supposed to
Yep.
be, and so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I kind of have a bad image of Venom from a previous movie like that. I do also like Tom Hardy. You know, him in as Bane in Batman was incredible. I mean, he
so good.
The best. I'm not gonna say the best villain in a Batman film because you know.
Heath Ledger's
The
Joker.
Jokers,
that's it.
you can't top that, I don't think. But I mean, Tom Hardy's right there, man.
Oh,
I
dude,
mean,
he-
he's
I-
like
His
they're
physical
almost on the same.
dominance
Mhm.
of Batman was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, you got in the comic books, and you got in the, and this is in my top 5 worst superhero films of all time, Batman and Robin, that he was in. Matt just puts that down. Matt likes that movie. I cannot stand that movie for so many reasons. Oh man, I could go into that right now and say the Batman Visa card and Batman nipple suits. That's it. That did it for me. I couldn't do it anymore at that point. So we don't have to go into Arnold Schwarzenegger or any of that, or Uma Thurman, who I love but did not like in that movie. Anyways,
Reel it back in.
we're back in. Yeah, let me come back in here, guys.
Spider-Man 3. Keep going.
But so anyway, I mean, Bane in that movie was honestly more comic book like, with the
Yes.
with the injections that he gets and the actual look and the mask. And I thought it was terrible on film. I don't think character does good. Now, I mean, animated films he does great, but live action, that character transferring to screen is not good. Tom Hardy transferred that character perfect, I think. So I think that's what killed us.
That's Chris Nolan.
That's true. It was. 'Cause he knew. He was like, you know what? What stinks is for Tom Hardy. He's such a great actor. I mean, there's nothing he's not done that's bad. I mean, he's been Bane. Now he's been being Venom, which is going to be unbelievable. I still want him to be the guy that replaces Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I mean,
Be good.
yeah. Put a beard on him and some claws. That's Wolverine right there. I mean, dude is ready. But yeah, so I'm stoked for Venom. It's going to be good. I'm sure that's one we're all going to go see, and we may do something special for that one. Do a quick podcast of initial thoughts right afterwards or something, because that's going to be awesome. And it's big for Sony because they're gearing to the Sinister Six. They want to do a Avengers type film about supervillains. You know, and they've announced that with Spider-Man, the next movie, Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Vulture's coming back. Michael Keaton was great.
Yes, he was.
You know, so now they've got Morbius, the Living Vampire, coming out. They just announced they're doing a spinoff of Silk, which is going to be, do y'all know who Silk is?
Mm-hmm.
So, Tyler, do you know who Silk is?
I do not know.
So Silk, she actually, in one storyline or one part of the Marvel Universe, she got bit by the same spider that bit Peter, and then became Silk. So pretty much a female Spider-Man. Really cool character, really cool. I like her a lot better than Gwen Stacy's Spider Girl thing, whatever that's going on there. So I mean, but they're building to the Sinister Six film. So I think it'd be really cool, because if you have Sinister Six, you might as well bring Venom in there and have him go toe-to-toe with him with Spider-Man. I would love that. Tom Holland and I'll get ahead of myself. Sony, get it together. So, anyways, it's going to be awesome. The next one that I know we're all excited about is Creed 2, coming out November 21st. Dolph Lundgren's back. For those who don't know about Creed came out 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Oh,
Please.
it's
Do
so
yourself
good.
a favor.
My wife does not like the Rocky films. She loved Creed. She thought it was a great movie. She needs to like the Rocky films. Sarah
She
Yes,
does.
she does.
Like the Rocky
Yes.
films.
I mean, if anybody listening doesn't know who Rocky is, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast. So just let you know right
Just go
now.
and turn it off now.
So Creed is about Jonas Creed, who is Apollo Creed's son, and trying to find himself. in the world, and he ends up going to Rocky to become a boxer and have him train him. And I honestly, man, I think Creed was every bit as good as the first Rocky on so many levels.
It was good.
Oh man, I mean the whole, him calling, I mean just even down to where he was calling Rocky Unc.
Yeah.
Was phenomenal. The fight with cancer, it's like, I'll fight if you fight. I mean, it was, man, such a good movie.
Yeah.
So to see them come back in the next one and Creed fight off against Drago's son, which, I mean, have you guys seen the trailer, right?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, are we going to see Drago? Because at first I was like, is this about Drago? What's going on? And then all of a sudden you see the back of his little, hoodie, and it just says Drago. And I'm like, oh, yes, this is going to be so good.
Yes.
So we see him going toe-to-toe in the ring with the son of the man who kills his father. And we know Dolph Lundgren's coming back, who killed his father in Rocky IV. One punch thrown by Rocky, and just, it would be great.
Movie over.
Yeah. Maybe the first 5 seconds, he'll punch him, I'm walking out. I'm done at that point. It's like, I see what
Mic drop.
I'm stoked about this one, guys. I cannot wait. More than likely going to be, depending on how it goes, trailer so far is making me think this is going to be great. This may be a multiple viewing one for me, theaters.
Ooh, really?
So,
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. First, I mean, Creed was a multiple viewing for me.
Creed was I thought Sly should have won an award for that movie, and I know he got beat out, but he should have won an award for that movie. He did an excellent job.
Oh, phenomenal.
And but yeah, the new one just looks amazing. I love Rocky anyways.
Yeah, they're so good. The Tiger.
If I ever want to
baby.
run my wife out of the room, I just turn a Rocky film on because she just like, I can't do it.
My daughter Jada, she loves them. She watched the fourth Rocky. It was the first one she watched with me, with Drago, and she loved it. And she's like, Dad, what is this? I'm like, it's Rocky. She's like, are there more? I'm like, oh, sit down. Let's start you from the beginning.
This says Rocky 4.
There's
There's 3
more.
before it.
The only one you have to miss is the fifth one, except for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a terrible movie until the end. So yeah, super stoked. Tyler.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna go against you on it. There's not gonna be a Rocky versus Drago Senior on this one, man. I'm sorry, they're getting a little too old to be throwing punches at this point.
They come out and give hugs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're throwing their canes at each other or something. I don't know, but
It's going to be a
Wheelchair race.
Yes, a wheelchair race would be perfect. That's
Yeah,
enough for
there
me.
you
A wheelchair race I can handle.
there you
I can
go.
do it.
There you go. Yeah,
Any competition,
but no,
it's going to
no
work.
fight.
Dude, it would- any wheel.
Thumb wrestle, whatever.
Oh, that'd be all. I'm sold on a wheelchair race because you know what? The last time I saw a wheelchair race was ruined by Tom Cruise. Have you ever seen Days of Thunder? Do you know what I'm talking about, Matt? Down the hospital. I'm like, come on. So they're race car drivers for NASCAR, right? And Tom Cruise plays Cole something or other, and then and his biggest rival in NASCAR. They get in a wreck and they're taken to a hospital together, and they get out the same day, but they're in these wheelchairs. And so in the most cheesy, stupid scene ever, they had to race their wheelchairs to see who's best on the hallway. So I need a fix on that. That needs to be corrected. So Dolph Lundgren and
Just do it down the
Special.
stairs at the Philadelphia stairs.
Yes. That would be, there it is.
They
man.
get to the bottom and they're like, yeah.
That'd be so good. Okay, so there's another big movie we put on this list just for Matt alone because he's a fan, and I want to give him the hardest time.
Oh, yes. I forgot about this. Yes.
November 9th, we have another Grinch movie coming out.
I will say I'm also a fan of it just because they're bringing in Benedict Cumberbatch, and I'm a big fan of
That's
his,
the
so-
only reason I might watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, you'll go see
watch
it.
But
Yeah.
I mean, between the
Like,
Avengers,
man, this movie's awesome.
yeah, but between the Avengers and then like Sherlock and stuff like that, like I'm a Benedict Cumberbatch fan.
Dude, I
so
love
I'll go
it.
see it.
Let's rant on him for a minute because he is an amazing actor.
Oh yeah,
The dude's just an amazing person in general. I mean, an old man or somebody was jumped by. No, it was a delivery guy that got jumped by some gang members not like a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago.
yeah, not long. I mean, he
And-
jumped out and broke it up.
Oh yeah, in an Uber.
Jumped out of his Uber.
Yeah, it was just like I don't think so, But I do think they did not see him and go, "It's Sherlock Holmes. We better stop." I think they saw him and go, "It's Khan. We better, we gotta go."
Either that or Doctor Strange, and they're like, "Oh crap,
Dude, or even Dr. Strange.
He just
he's gonna sling ring us."
Yeah. he's phenomenal. And my favorite role, I mean, I love him as Doctor Strange, but him as Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness was
Good movie.
that just I'll be surprised if he ever tops that role for me, because that was awesome. Because
I read an article the other day. Sorry, that it was Benedict Cumberbatch's performance in The Hobbit, where he's the dragon,
Smaug.
that convinced Josh Brolin to play Thanos.
really,
Yes, they said if they can do that with him, I can't wait to see what they do with me.
oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
because he was great as Smaug. He was
Yes.
really good.
Like, have you guys seen the behind the scenes of him acting that out? Like,
No, I have
he's
not.
intense, man.
Yeah, man.
Like they've got him all cameraed up, and I mean, he's like laying on the ground, like walking.
He
and-
motion captures the role.
Yeah, like he.
I thought he was just the voice.
No, dude, he does everything. I mean, it's
Really?
You need to go look this up, like the behind the scenes, him recording that. I mean, because he's crawling across
I
the
need to.
ground.
Yeah.
I mean, he's acting like he's blowing the fire. Like, I mean, he's
Oh, dude, I gotta see that.
Dude, it's
And I'm
intense.
gonna rant for a second when it comes to motion capture actors. It really upsets me and irks me that the academies will not nominate them, because when you look at, I had no idea. That blows my mind that
Yeah.
he did Smaug. That's awesome. When you look at Andy Serkis, who did Golem in the Lord of
He
the
would
Rings
win
films.
every year.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, he went on to do it. He played King Kong in Peter Jackson's King Kong. But to me, his role as Caesar in Planet of the Apes, unbelievable,
Yes.
man. I mean, some of the best acting I've ever seen, especially the last one, War. I mean, he brought me near to tears at the end of that movie. And it's like, oh, no, he wasn't really on screen. Yes, he. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that about Smog. That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, we'll roll back in because now we're
Back to the Grinch.
Back to the Grinch. Me, don't see a point. We have the awesome original
So
cartoon, which
sad.
is so good, and then Jim Carrey's Grinch. If it wasn't for Jim Carrey's Grinch, I might be excited about it, even though I do love Benedict a lot. I mean, he's such a good actor. His voice sounds really weird in the trailer, because I've watched the trailer. It's like, I don't know if they got an effect on him or they just did a pitch shift, but it's odd.
well, and his accent's gone. Like,
Well,
like,
yeah, it's true.
I mean, that's one thing that throws you off, and you're like, is that him or is that not him? Like,
Like, it's
I
got
can't
some
quite get it there.
Tonal
Yeah,
features, but
yeah.
that's really it for me. Is Jim Carrey's the Grinch? Jim Carrey is the Grinch forevermore. For me. I mean, that was such a good movie. So I will be giving Matt a good hard time. Well, why are you excited about it, Matt, for the Grinch?
Well, I'm a big Universal fan. Anyways, we love their theme parks. I love a lot of their movies. Of course, they're like the monster movie
Oh yes,
kings. But anyways, that's another story. But I'm just excited. One, I think I'm glad they're doing a cartoon and not another like a film like Jim Carrey's.
Like a live action
Yeah,
almost.
I think, and I seen a trailer before Jurassic World for this, and the story looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm sorry,
we will see.
I'm sorry, man.
and they also
No. I mean, there's movies that we all like.
I got my
individually.
tickets at the ticket booth, and I'll go in, and my wife's getting popcorn, and we actually know one of the girls that works at the theater, and she come up and said hey to us, and she turned around and she had a Grinch shirt on. I'm like, yes, it's the Grinch. And plus, I'm not a fan of Christmas, so him stealing Christmas is
Oh, okay. So that's what it is.
That's the true underlying story.
Now the truth's
there.
coming out.
Yeah.
okay. The holiday is great and what it represents. However, everything else around it just drives me insane.
Oh, yes.
I can say that
I hate the traffic
can see
and
because
things
I know
like that.
I will get hate for that.
Yeah.
I'm
Dude,
prepared. I do it
It's
all
okay.
the time.
I mean, yeah. I love what it means, what it stands for. I can agree with you on that.
Well, and I love the time with family like that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
I
like
don't.
the traffic,
No, I'm just
the traffic and the stores and the grocery shopping, just even getting to work, like it just becomes a pain in the butt. It's like people just lose their minds around
Yeah,
that
the
time of
pressure.
year.
It's
like
the
ridiculous.
longest day of the year
It's-
for me.
Oh, is it really?
It is. I mean, between with me and Sarah, we've got 4 kids, and going to all the families' houses and grandparents' houses. I mean, it's like I think last year it's like got up at 7, went over and got the Christmas started with the kids, and by the time it was all said and done, it was like 11 o'clock at night, just getting home. Like, what happened to today? whoa. So Grinch is going to be good. I mean, the kids are going to.
He said it. Said it's going to be good.
They did.
For the kids.
He did.
For the kids is what I meant to say.
You heard it here.
I mean, it's going to do good in theaters. It's the Grinch.
It will. Yes.
It's not Jim
I'm
Carrey's
excited.
The Grinch. So
I'm excited for the Grinch.
anyways, we're moving on to the last one because I know we got some questions here, and I do want to touch on this because we've got to hit the most important thing about SludgeCast on every episode, and that's Godzilla. It's Godzilla. Godzilla, if you don't know, you do know who it is. Everybody listening right now knows who Godzilla is because he is the literally largest pop culture icon in history. He's the biggest movie character in history, to the point to where he has got his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's won a Lifetime Achievement Award. He has got more movies than any character on film. We're fixing to see 31 with the next animated film.
That's crazy.
He year before last, he's the only fictional character, to my knowledge, that is a legit citizen of a country. 2016, I think it was. Japan made him an actual licensed citizen. And they did a whole big spiel too. You know what I mean? Like, he got the dude in the suit, came out, they gave him his paperwork, he signed it, the whole 9 yards. So he's huge for them. Huge for them in so many ways because he, as a character for Japan, is at the heart of what's arguably the most tragic event that country's ever been in.
Right.
Unfortunately, in our hands. The bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is really the core to it. I mean, there's another story, too, with the Lucky Dragon. And we may do an episode on Godzilla and we'll break it down. But for them, when that movie came out, it was truly a horrific scene. And scared everybody because they were coming out, going to see this movie, still feeling the pain from the loss and destruction of those bombings.
Because it was, what, 10 years after that happened or something?
Like 9-10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, hundreds of thousands. So for them, it's huge. And unbeknownst to them at the time, they were just going to make one movie. America saw it, loved it, grabbed it, made it their, an Americanized version, and then it just took off from there. He's fought so many villains. He's fought King Kong in 1962. He's had multiple theatrical releases all across the world. He's got more cartoons and toy lines, comic books. He's everywhere. He's a character, and me and Matt's talked about this, that you could see his silhouette and know who he is, or hear his roar and know it's Godzilla.
I feel like every time you're going to say that you're going to edit this in, and we're going to hear the roar every single time. And you say Godzilla, you're going to hear the roar.
That's right there. I'm going to start randomly doing it. It's like something talking roar, just so you know where it's going to be at. 2014, Legendary bought the rights from Toho Pictures to do a Godzilla film that was insanely successful. Over $500 million at the box office, was way better than the 98 Sony TriStar garbage that came out then, because that was not Godzilla in any means. But it was a huge success, massive success. And so now they've gone and done a cinematic universe called the MonsterVerse, like Marvel does, and a lot of people are doing now. And they followed it up with Kong Skull Island. And the next one comes out next year, in one of the biggest weekends of the year, May 31st, Godzilla King of the Monsters comes out. So I do want to touch on this. I know going into this, you guys hadn't, or Matt, you'd seen both movies, and then, but Tyler, you hadn't seen both movies, right?
Yes.
Okay, so before we did this episode, we all kind of rewatched it, or for Tyler, he watched it for the first time. What were your all's thoughts about the initial Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and what Legendary's doing with the Monster Universe?
I thought I've had some background with Kong before. I have actually seen bits and pieces of the original Kong vs. Godzilla movie. It's been a long time ago, but I thought the stories of both movies were fantastic. I thought that the graphics were amazing, and the only thing I wish we would have seen more of, and I know there's the different tones of the movie too. Godzilla is really, really dark. As far as in walking through the city, it's always dark through there.
Yeah.
So you don't really see him like I would really want to see him like full screen, for more than just 2 seconds. But I thought that both of these movies were great. I love Kong. Skull Island was amazing.
So good.
Gosh,
So good.
it was so good. And but I enjoyed that both of the monsters, they help people. Like, and people weren't as terrified of them as they thought they should have been. Like the one, the guy in the Godzilla movie, he's Japanese. And,
Dr. Serizawa.
Yes, and he's talking about Godzilla, and I was like, man,
Which is a
really
nod,
cool.
and if you guys don't know, is a nod to an original character from the original film.
Right.
The guy who actually kills the original Godzilla's name is Dr. Serizawa, which I thought was great. They honored so much of that movie in this one.
And then Bryan Cranston's the man.
Oh yeah.
I hated that he died. He had to die though,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you can't put Bryan Cranston on screen at the same time as Godzilla, because that's like two titans truly fighting it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was wonderful. Did you know that the scene, and of course now that you've both seen it, the scene where he's in that interrogation room, that was all a warm up. He was just running through the lines. Gareth had the camera guy rolling, and he nailed it that good that when he turns around and goes, okay, we're going to shoot, and Garrett's like, we got it. I mean, he's that freaking good in the movie.
Yeah.
That was actually him practicing and just sold it so well that Garrett's like, we're not one shot, one take.
Yeah.
That was
He's good.
amazing.
He's the man.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Tyler,
Really
what do you
good.
think about those two movies?
I thought that they were great. I do agree with Matt. You get the one that's like super dark, and you get the one that's a little bit brighter, and you can see a little bit more of what's going on. But like you said, they all look to these as like they're heroes almost, like they're the ones saving them and protecting them, and I thought that was pretty cool. I liked in Godzilla, you get down to that end scene, and he just like. Absolutely demolishes. Like
that is the
that is
best
just
kill
like yeah.
for Godzilla ever.
That's just like it just takes the cake for me. That was an epic kill.
I thought that was kind of cool because to me that was, in my mind at least, as a Godzilla fan, because I love Kong. I've always stated that the greatest love movie that's ever been made is the original King Kong. And I know that this Kong has been very revamped. It's not that Beauty and the Beast story anymore. He's in this realm now and universe of these creatures were looked at as gods in history and things like this. They're just huge. So it's very different, but I've always been a big Kong fan, but I'm nowhere near the Kong fan that I am the Godzilla fan. Not even close. And so for me, when I saw that scene in theaters where Godzilla comes in and he just opens the Muto's mouth, blows the fire down, and just the head comes off, my first reaction was, take that, Kong, because I go back to the 33 film where he's with the T-Rex, and have you seen the original one? So where he's like pulling his mouth apart and he's struggling, trying, and it's just like Godzilla going, that ain't nothing. That, in my mind, that's what
he
it
just
was.
does like the ultimate mic drop at the end.
That's
Too. Just like
what he
drops
should
the
have done.
head.
He's
Yeah.
like, I need a mic. Bam. So, I mean, they're great films. I'm excited to see where they go. This is the first time in history, because Toho's very particular with their Godzilla properties. They don't like to let that loose. And when Sony and TriStar, well, I don't want to say Sony TriStar, I want to say Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich ruined it in 98, Toho was like, no. So it took a lot of negotiating for them to get it. And I love it because this is the first time they've got so much trust in Legendary and Thomas Tull with how well the first one did and then how well Kong's done. Even though they don't own it, they are looking at it, that they know it's a bigger universe, that they actually licensed 3 other movies from the Godzilla canon for the next film. So we're going to see Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, which, and if you guys haven't seen much Godzilla, or anybody that's listening, King Ghidorah is probably the next biggest known name. I mean, that is King Ghidorah to Godzilla is Joker to Batman. I mean, he's Venom to Spider-Man. He's the ultimate villain and arch nemesis. So I'm super stoked that he's coming for the next one. They have Michael Dougherty, who did Krampus. So Matt, who doesn't like Christmas, should love that movie. And he did a smaller horror film called Trick or Treat, which was an anthology of like Halloween stories, which was great. He's phenomenal. What I love about Dougherty especially is he's so much about practical effects, which I think misses a lot in modern film today. Because I mean, the computer graphics are great, and even like Pacific Rim Uprising looked phenomenal, but it's CGI.
Yeah.
I miss that realism that comes with practical effects. So Michael Dougherty has stated, obviously there's going to be a lot of CGI in the next one. We got Godzilla and Mothra and all them. but he's using as much practical effects as possible for the monsters. So that excites me a lot because that's really how it started, was the man in the suit. So I'm stoked about it. I love that Ghidorah's coming, and all of this is building up to 2020 when we get to see Kong and Godzilla go toe to toe. And the next movie is going to be great. So much so that, I mean, they were doing it in March, and then they moved it to May 31st. And I was talking to Sarge from the lead guitar player from the Protest last night about this. And he's like, well, what does that mean? I was like, that's arguably maybe the biggest weekend of the year for movies. You're going into the summer blockbuster time. It's Memorial Day weekend. They know, I think it's like a week or 2 weeks before or after Aladdin comes out. I mean, the next Avengers. That's Warner Brothers and Legendary, when they moved it to that weekend, said this is going to be the biggest movie of the year, and we know it. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge confidence for that. So I'm super excited. They've done some recent test screenings, and some stuff's been leaked that sounds amazing. Supposedly Rodan dies in a extremely brutal way. From my understanding, this Ghidorah takes his entire left side, wing and all, and just rips it right off. So it'll be interesting to see how they go from this into Kong Skull Island, because again, Kong and Godzilla have fought before in 1962 in a much more fun, comedic way, and what is a horrible Kong suit, but still a great movie. But there was the biggest thing there that happened then was there was no clear winner. Who won, Kong or Godzilla? And Adam Wingard, who's directing Kong versus Godzilla, it's interesting that Legendary's picked horror directors to do these, because Wingard's experience so far has been VHS, and I think he worked with Blair Witch, and he's done a lot of horror films. But he stated there will be a clear winner. So to end this segment, we're moving to Kong versus Godzilla. Who do we think's going to win? Now, this Kong is definitely not the Kong we've always known.
No, he's not.
He is a beast.
He's young, still growing.
Yep. That's, a lot of people are like, wow, he's so much smaller than Godzilla, and they don't understand the fact that, he's still a child in that movie. At 100 and something feet tall. Godzilla's 300, and that takes place during the Vietnam War. He's got decades to grow.
Yes.
And Wingard stated he's big, and he is apparently scarred all over the place from other battles. So he's going to be even more battle-hardened and experienced to go toe-to-toe against Godzilla. But what do you think? Kong or Godzilla? Who do you think is going to be the winner? Let's debate about that.
As bad as I hate to say it, it's probably going to be Godzilla.
And that's Matt's last episode with us. We've enjoyed him being here. No, I'm just kidding. What, did you say Godzilla?
Yeah.
I thought you said Kong for some reason.
Yeah, he's trying to kill me off already.
My bad.
I'm bleeding. It's okay.
Because you're the bigger Kong fan. So
yes,
I
am. I thought I think it's gonna be a great movie. But I do think that Godzilla
coming out on top.
Yeah, I mean, look at him.
He's Godzilla.
He's a rock star, man.
Dude, he is. He really is a rock star.
I've got to go with the same. It's going to be Godzilla all the way.
Godzilla. That's the consensus of SludgeCast, is Godzilla's going to win. I mean,
it's amazing that we got Matt on that. Like,
I know, because
the fact that we have me and you being on the same page, I can see that. But like getting Matt on the same page, that's amazing.
I do it just to argue.
I instantly replied with him saying Kong.
Yeah,
I
knew
you
didn't even hear him out. You're just like, oh, he's going.
I knew ahead of time he's going for Kong, so whatever. I don't care.
I do think Godzilla will win. I think they're two good monsters. They
are. I mean, the biggest monsters in film history, without a question. So, all right, we do have some listener questions we do want to take real quick. One, we thank you guys again so much for listening. Anything you guys want to comment as far as the Avengers, Infinity War, or other things we've talked about tonight, especially Godzilla, I'm always here to talk to you about Godzilla. So we do have a couple questions. Justin is from Elkhart, Indiana, and he had a couple questions. He actually wrote a pretty lengthy question that may have been three or four questions long, or I don't know, it was a lot. So Justin, I do apologize, but I summed it up. He asked, do you think everyone is really dead in Avengers? It was an Avengers question. So,
like, as of the end of the movie, dead, or like period, as of after it's all said and done, do we think people are going to be dead?
No, they're not dead.
I think we kind of answered that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's going to be dead. I do believe that there will be some gone.
Permanently gone.
Permanently. Like like we said, the contracts are coming up. People are going to be, taken out so they can kind of reboot with some new
True.
actors and things like that. So I do believe that some will be gone. By the end of the next movie, permanently they're gone. But no, I don't think all of them. I mean, you got to break. We already know that Spider-Man's got to come back. Like you say, Gamora's got to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You've got Black Panther that we know has to come back because he just started his. Yeah. So I definitely think that there's some that are coming back. Definitely. Not all.
I think Cap's the one that's not. I mean, he's still there, but he's gone.
I could see Cap and Iron Man being gone.
Yeah. I don't know that. I don't think that. Justin, this is my opinion. I don't think they'll kill Aunt Tony.
No, I don't know that they'll kill him necessarily, but I could see this being his last film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, even if it's just Pepper Potts convinces him to
finally
put down the suit and let War Machine take over or something.
Have you ever watched How It Should Have Ended on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
I've seen one for ironically the Predator. That's the only one I think I've seen.
They just released one for the Avengers.
The Avengers one is awesome. Like they're like, how can they defeat Thanos or whatever? And they take the time stone and turn Thanos into a little baby. And Tony takes it to Pepper. He's like, hey Pepper, remember I was talking about having a kid? Meet baby Thanos.
It's hysterical. I feel like they start with Doctor Strange like twitching and stuff, and he's like, I've seen all these millions of ways or the million ways that we, this turns out. And they're like, how many do women? And he's like, oh, like 5. And one of them is turning into a baby. One of them, he does like the sling ring and just cuts off Thanos' arm. It's just like a whole bunch of like funny things, but it's hysterical.
Yeah.
And so another question he had for as far as Avengers and Marvel, Justin asked, who would you like to see in the next film? Adam Warlock, Silver Surfer? Where would you like to go? I'm Warlock. It's not going to happen, but I want to see him so bad on film.
In Avengers?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I think Silver Surfer would be cool, though, too. I really do.
He would be pretty cool. Yeah. And that would be really cool. I mean, honestly, with that character, we couldn't have him because he's still owned by Fox.
Yeah.
But that's the perfect segue tie into who do you go after than Thanos and maybe Galactus,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not going to happen. I would love to see Adam Warlock's who I want to see the most. I mean, that's my only big disappointment building up to this point is no Adam Warlock.
That will be the after credit scene.
They will do that for me.
Yes,
they will fix that for me. Who would you like to see, Tyler?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it'll be Adam Warlock yet. I mean, they may do something down the road, but
just kicking a little further.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome. Just kicking that can, I don't really know. I hadn't really thought about it. Who would be one of the next ones? I agree. Silver Surfer would be pretty cool to see make an entrance, but I don't really know. I haven't really thought about that one.
I would now, Justin, if you mean as far as the next phase,
yeah,
I would like to see Moon Knight. Moon Knight would be pretty cool. I think he would be pretty sweet. If y'all don't know who Moon Knight is, he's really cool. He kind of had a Spawn type vibe to him,
right?
And got his powers from the moon and stuff. It would be cool to get some of those guys, like him or Deathlock would be awesome. Bring him in.
Maybe they will bring back Howard the Duck.
Do bring him back. I remember watching. I've got that movie. Howard the Duck. Okay.
Oh, you have the old. Okay.
Oh yeah, man!
That's
I love
awesome.
that movie. I watched it like 2 or 3 months ago because I remember watching it as a kid.
Yeah, I do too.
And I haven't watched it in years, but I've owned it for so long. And I go back and watch Howard the Duck. That dude, bring Howard back, man. I mean, 'cause he's teamed up with Man Thing and the Fantastic Four. He teamed up with Kiss in the comic books at one point. Bring Kiss in, Gene Simmons and all of them. But I went back and watched Howard the Duck like a month ago, and I sat there going, my parents let me watch this.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I was like, some of the references with Lee Thompson in that movie, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, because I started watching it, and Jada, she's 11. She's like, what's this? I'm like, it's Howard the Duck. She's like, can I watch it? I'm like, no, we're not watching this one now. I forgot. I was like, whoa. So anyways, Justin, thank you for your questions. Now, I've got some friends in Canada, Josh and Lee Curry. She asked, why was Peter Parker's death so drawn out in Avengers Infinity War over everybody else's? His really did stick out.
So I have a kind of a theory on this, and I've heard it from some other people on why it's so drug out. He has spidey senses, so he feels it coming before it actually hits him. He senses what nobody else can sense. So his spidey senses start tingling. He feels the death coming, but he can't do anything about it to stop it. So as he's feeling it, as he feels this coming and getting closer and starting to hit him, he starts freaking out because he can't do anything to stop it.
Wow.
And he has his moment with Tony Stark, and then he disappears and he's gone. That is what I think, and that's my opinion on that.
That's a good one. I
That
just
is
think
really
because he's really small and like it took all the big guys first, and then just kidding.
It was a jab at Tobey Maguire. That's what I think it was. Completely.
Oh yeah,
That's my answer. No, it's not. That's a good theory. I think it was really drawn out.
Yeah.
And that would probably be the only thing that makes sense is the Spidey sense. So that does make actual logic to me. I thought it was more drawn out watching it because it was in Tony's arms.
Yeah, I mean they definitely went for drama and emotional
yeah.
attachment. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, his was the worst.
Well,
I mean,
and
really,
it was.
It's so sad.
And I mean,
Mr. Stark. Oh, no. It's like, man, it's terrible.
I mean, in the movie, even not everyone goes out at the same time. We notice that.
Yeah.
You know, people are kind of disappearing at different times, and we even see it in the end credit with Nick Fury. You know, a vehicle literally crashes in front of them because the person's already gone, and he gets out and he's like, "What the heck's going on?" And he goes to page, you know, Captain Marvel, and then he starts disappearing. So we know it. You know, it could be, you know, something along the lines with, you know, it doesn't happen for everybody at the same time, and so that, you know, they did play a little bit to that emotion to make his a little bit more drawn out, but you know, it wasn't like everyone disappeared at the same time, but Peter Parker was still there.
Right.
So,
You think you want to add on that?
No, I think that's a good theory. I'd heard something similar to that the other day, and but I do think that they may have just drawn it out just for the emotional connection that we have with Peter Parker. I mean, he's a teenager.
Yeah.
And
the
it's just,
youngest of all.
Yeah, you know, and maybe that's why it waited so long for him to get there, because he's the youngest too. I don't know. I'm just
Maybe.
He's the smallest, he's the youngest, but I don't know. It's just I think that's a good theory. What you said, Tyler.
Yeah.
I really do.
We'll go with that. Yeah, definitely. So, Leah, to answer your question,
Just to make you cry. That's why
they just wanted you to cry. That was
just
it.
to know
So-
that he was feeling pain a lot longer than everyone else.
So that's what makes sense. So we're going to go with the Spidey sense. If it wasn't for that, then it's just got to be the emotional draw with Tony and him being the youngest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Or maybe, I just thought about this. You know, the movie starts with Tony talking about a son, you know, having a kid. And at the end, it's almost like he loses his kid in Spider-Man.
that's true. I think you reached really far, but
I did.
but that's a good one there.
I don't know. This is from Evan. He lives here locally. But the first question is, does anyone have issues with multiple Marvel characters being played by the same person?
So like Chris Evans, Human
Yes.
Torch, Captain America. I personally don't, as long as, and I think it's been the case so far, the second role or character is far superior, and you
Oh,
totally
yes,
forget it. I
by
mean, like
far.
Chris Evans, I don't even actually plus the Fantastic Four movies were so bad. They were, I mean, they're not in the top 5 worst superhero films, but they were pretty bad. I mean, they weren't that great. It was easy to forget Human Torch. You know what I mean? Because Chris has been so amazing as Captain America. And then in the same token, you look at Ryan Reynolds, Green Lantern, and then Deadpool. You know, I love Green Lantern, even though it wasn't the best movie ever. I loved his role in it, but he has done far better as Deadpool than that. So yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it bothers me to see the same actor play a separate role
Yeah.
or different roles, multiple.
There's just two completely different characters. I mean, his Johnny as the Human Torch was just silly.
Yeah.
It's just silly. But Captain, he's such a more defined character. Like his story's better. You really know how he became Captain America, other than just a space accident, you know, like in the Fantastic Four. But no, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, I don't.
I think for me, another thing that plays into it is, I mean, like, you guys hit it right on the head. You know, you've got the differences in the characters. You've got, you know, the newer ones way overdo the old characters, but you've also got the time that sets them apart.
True.
You know, look at how young Chris Evans was when he did Human Torch.
That was pretty close to the beginning of his career, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was like early for him. I mean that was, I mean, if you were almost look at him with how young he was, you almost wouldn't realize it's the same character. Almost, right. I mean, you definitely tell, but you know, it's been such a time difference between there. I don't think it really matters much.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
There was one, when you're thinking about it, there is actually one actor I can think of that's played multiple characters, and each performance was absolutely phenomenal. But I can't put them, you know, mix them together. Michael Keaton as Batman, awesome. As Vulture, awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he did great for both.
Yeah.
I think in the case, you know, it's, and even then, I think for that, it's going to be time, because, you know, the Batman movies came out in the late 80s, early 90s when he played Batman, and then we just got, you know, him as the Vulture last year, you know, so it's a huge time difference. So time, I think, plays a big factor.
And a big difference you have with that one especially is you're jumping across from DC to Marvel too, so you're not even in the same, you know, world at that point.
Yeah. And as DC said so well, you know, if you don't die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Had to throw that in there. You know, Batman line about Batman becoming the Vulture. So
There you go.
That's funny. All right, his second question is, it's kind of hitting on the Spider-Man thing again. I have read reports of a new Spider-Man using Tom Holland. How does that affect him ceasing to exist? Will it be in the timeline before the movie, and which is regarding to the new Spider-Man Homecoming? And also, how do we feel about Chris Pratt's death threats from his...
So, okay, I'll take the Spider-Man one. For Spider-Man, he's one of the ones we know is going to come back, because and he just showed it. I think he took his Tom took his Twitter account a couple days ago. The title of the movie is actually Spider-Man Far From Home,
something like that.
Something like that. Because I know it's going to take place in like England or somewhere. So that movie is post Avengers. From my understanding, they haven't stated otherwise. So, but I
think they said it was directly after 4.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's right after 4.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the cases where we know that Tom Holland's coming back, and he's going to be Spider-Man for a while. So, I don't think that we know he's coming back. They're obviously going to fix it in Avengers. So, I don't think that's going to play too much of a hard time with the new Spider-Man Far From Home, because they've got such a big future with that anyways.
Yeah, good Spider-Man.
I think the best yet.
Yeah, he does a good job. Yeah. It's kind of weird they're moving him out of New York, you know, because
we've never seen that.
I mean,
it's always been in New York. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even take a picture, does he? In the first one?
No.
I mean, that's what Peter Parker does. Is take photos. Take photos.
He doesn't do none.
And the Bugle.
That's all the next movie's going to be. That's it. It's going to be him. I'm a tourist.
I was going to say, but you also have to think. I mean, they're still playing to. He's still a high school kid. I mean, he hasn't started a career or anything. So maybe, from what we've seen with Tobey Maguire and stuff, maybe they're playing to a little bit of a younger age.
They're just taking a completely different storyline.
Yeah, developing him a little bit more before we maybe see him step into the Bugle.
Which that's true. They have to do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have to bring in the Bugle.
Yeah.
Star-Lord's death threats?
Star-Lord's death threats.
What do you think?
I think it's hilarious, and just because it is his fault. No.
Totally your fault, Chris.
But I mean, I feel sorry for the dude, really. I mean, he's just like, just leave him alone. It's just an actor.
Yeah.
He's just playing the character. He didn't write it.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
that's where like being a fan gets a little too creepy.
Yeah, for real.
That's like Buffalo Bill Silence of the Lambs. It's creepy.
It's seriously. I mean,
over the top.
Yeah,
going to the movies dressed as Darth Vader is one thing, but
actually thinking to Edward James Olmos for you didn't voice Vader right.
Yes, actually thinking that Chris Pratt really is Star-Lord. Yeah, there's something wrong there.
That's like that made me think of what was it? Whitney Houston. The Bodyguard for some reason. Maybe think of that. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's people that are like that. You're crazy.
Yeah.
I know it.
Check yourself in. The local nut house will get you some help. So
I know it. I mean, he's been in another movie since in Jurassic World, and I mean, he's Owen. He's the man in those movies, and so
he's great. I actually like him. I don't know. It's hard because I love him as Owen.
Yeah.
But I love him as Star-Lord too. He's so good.
He's very good.
I do want to take a definitely hats off before we wrap this up about Chris Pratt, since Evan brought up the character or the actor. His statements on the MTV Movie Awards.
Oh yeah,
man,
that
that's
was
awesome. You know,
Phenomenal.
we don't on this show don't expect us to be getting political because there's too much of that stuff in there, and that we know what's going on in the world. But I do want to say hats off. You don't see much positive things going on right now, especially related to God, and Chris Pratt to step up and say that at the MTV Movie Awards was great.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts, anybody?
Lay off Chris Pratt.
Leave him alone.
Yes.
Yeah. The man is awesome.
He's the man.
So
But we should be blaming Nebula. She just stood there. So
it's her fault.
It's
It
actually
is her
her
fault.
fault. It's her fault.
worthless character that shouldn't even been on screen's fault. No, she's not that bad of a character.
She's just standing there watching.
All right, well, guys, again, thank you so much, everybody. Justin, Leah, Evan, thank you guys for submitting your questions. This has been the first episode of SludgeCast. We definitely hope you enjoy it. Be paying attention to the Facebook page. Make sure you give it a like. We will be announcing what the topics are for the next episode. I will go ahead and let you know that the first episode of the Monster Movie Stomp Down will be actually a special double feature, because we'll be going over, since I'm a Godzilla fanatic, we'll be going over the original Japanese Godzilla, but we'll also talk about the Americanized version, because there is huge differences between the two of them. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a good night.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to breathe.
I'm invincible.
Ready, Jack? I was born